Zero conditional. Type 0 conditional. English grammar lesson. If it rains, the grass gets wet. This is an example of a zero conditional sentence. The first sentence, if it rains, is simple present. And the second sentence, the grass gets wet, is simple present as well. This time we want to talk about the grammar rule. The first sentence is simple present. There are two kinds of sentences in simple present. The differences are in the verb and complement. Complement means noun, adjective, and adverb. First is verbal sentence. Here are the formulas how to make it. There are positive using verb 1 plus s or es, negative using do not and does not, interrogative using do or does in front of the sentence. And the second is nominal sentence. Here are the formulas how to make it. There are positive using be, is, are plus complement. Negative, just add not after be, is, are. And interrogative, moving be, is, are in front of the sentence. Look at the example. If it rains is verbal sentence. It is subject. Rains is verb plus s. The other sentence, the grass gets wet, is using simple present. It is as same as with the if sentence, same patterns or formulas. First is verbal sentence and formula. Here they are. Second is nominal sentence and formulas. Here they are. Let's analyze it. The grass gets wet is using verbal sentence. The grass is subject and gets is verb plus s. In formulation, if you want to make if clause or main clause using simple present, you can use verbal sentence or nominal sentence. It depends on the situation you make it. If it rains, the grass gets wet. It is using simple present plus simple present. What does it mean? Zero conditionals are used for facts that are generally true and don't change. It refers to a general situation that always happens if a condition is met. For example, in the rules of a game, the condition always has the same result. Zero conditionals are also known as type zero conditionals. Let's look at this sentence again. If it rains, the grass gets wet. The tenses are simple present plus simple present. If it rains is the condition. This is an if clause because it begins with if. Also, we have to use a comma at the end of an if clause when the if clause comes at the beginning of the sentence. What is the result of this if clause? The result is the grass gets wet. Now, this condition, if it rains, always has the same result. The grass gets wet. That is why we used the zero conditional with the if clause or condition in the simple present tense, and the result in the simple present tense too, because we are talking about a fact or general truth. Let's look at some other examples. We can see the condition and the result. The grammar is using simple present plus simple present. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. The condition is if you stand in the rain, the result is you get wet. Yes, this is a general truth or fact if you don't have an umbrella. If you leave ice in the sun, it melts. The condition is if you leave ice in the sun, and the result is it melts. If you keep milk in the fridge, it lasts longer. The condition is if you keep milk in the fridge, and the result is the milk lasts longer. Yes, this is a fact. If you put water in the freezer, it becomes ice. What is the condition? The condition is if you put water in the freezer. The result is the water becomes ice. This is another fact. All of these sentences begin with an if clause. Notice the example. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. In these examples, what tenses are used? All of the verbs are in the simple present tense. So we know we are using the zero conditional, which means all of these sentences refer to a general truth or a general fact. The sentence, if you stand in the rain, is if clause, the condition. And the sentence, you get wet, is main clause, the result. If clause, as the condition, is the first sentence, and the second is main clause as the result. How? There is a comma after the if clause when the if clause is at the beginning. A comma is necessary between the two clauses. So, we have seen the order of if clause, comma, main clause, which is the condition plus result. But we can also change the order of the sentence and have the main clause, the result, before the if clause, the condition. How can we change our example sentence? If you stand in the rain, you get wet. How can we change it to this order? We say you get wet if you stand in the rain. You get wet is main clause, the result. If you stand in the rain is if clause, the condition. With this order, we don't use a comma between the clauses. Note that you can use sentence whether with comma or without comma, but the most important thing is following the pattern. Let's change the order of the examples we have already seen. If you leave ice in the sun, it melts. If you leave ice in the sun is if clause. It melts is main clause. Using comma after word sun. This becomes ice melts if you leave it in the sun. Ice melts is main clause. If you leave it in the sun is if clause. Those sentences have no comma. If you put water in the freezer, it becomes ice. If you put water in the freezer is if clause. It becomes ice is main clause. Using comma after word freezer. This becomes water becomes ice if you put it in the freezer. Water becomes ice is main clause. If you put it in the freezer is if clause. Those sentences have no comma. We can often use when instead of if, and it has the same meaning. We can say, if you put water in the freezer, it becomes ice. Or you can also say, when you put water in the freezer, it becomes ice. Another example, if you leave ice in the sun, it melts. We can replace if with when, and it becomes when you leave ice in the sun, it melts. The result is always the same. One thing, a condition always leads to another, a result. There is no difference in meaning when you change if for when in zero conditional sentences. We can use to express habitual activity or situation. It means repeated action in daily life. If I don't eat breakfast, I always get hungry during class. If I have enough time, I watch TV every evening. Remember, if clause is a condition and the main clause is result. Those are activities that we often use in daily basis. Okay, this is the last section. I will test your understanding about zero conditional sentences. If you can do it easily, it means you understand well about this material. The exercise. Fill in the gaps with the type zero conditional sentences. Please read and do it whole number of exercises. Just 5, not much. Here is the exercise of zero conditional. I'll give you 5 minutes. Please pause this video first. I hope you found this English grammar lesson about zero conditional useful. If you did, click like and subscribe to our channel. if you know when we create new videos to help you improve your English. Thank you very much for watching this video. A new language is a new history of life. Have a nice day. Bye bye.